I used to take out threats with nothing but a length of cord and a clear mind. These days, I'm getting slapped with fines for a flower pot that's an inch too wide. Life has a way of flipping the script like that. Neighbors see a guy pruning roses, keeping to himself, not making waves. They don't see what happens when you back that guy into a corner, especially when you mess with the one person he'd burn the world down to protect. This isn't just another neighborhood spat. It's a collision of past and present, and it all started with a single knock at the door. My name's Nathan Brooks, and if you think retirement means sipping coffee on a porch swing, you've never lived in a homeowners association run by a man with a vendetta. This is the story of how my quiet life in Crest Haven turned into a war zone, and how I had to dust off skills I swore I'd buried for good. 3 years ago, my wife, Claire, and I settled into Crest Haven, a tidy little community in upstate New York. It was October 2022, and we thought we'd found our forever home: neat lawns, charming houses, neighbors who waved as they jogged by. Claire, an interior designer with a knack for turning spaces into art, made our backyard a showstopper: stone paths, a handcrafted pergola, and fairy lights that glowed like something out of a dream. I took care of the grunt work: digging, planting, edging the lawn with a precision that raised eyebrows. Military habits, I'd say when folks asked, grinning to deflect. Truth is, 20 years as a Green Beret taught me that details keep you alive. That kind of focus was second nature, even if I was just shaping hedges. Everything changed in spring 2023 when Marcus Tate got elected HOA president. The old president was a laid-back accountant who cared more about stray cats than strict rules. Marcus was a different breed: mid-50s, ex-Army, with a stare that lingered too long and a smile that didn't reach his eyes. He carried himself like he was still barking orders on a base. But there was something off, like a gun with a jammed slide. At his first meeting, he rolled out rules that felt more like traps. Grass couldn't be over 2 inches, mailbox designs needed his personal sign-off. Even patio furniture had to match his vision. It was petty, but it set my nerves on edge. The trouble started small. A crisp letter showed up one Monday, claiming our lawn was a 1/4 inch too tall, with a $150 fine attached. Claire, who's got a temper when pushed, measured every blade and found it barely over the limit. I paid it, figuring it wasn't worth a fight. She wasn't happy about that. 2 weeks later, another notice hit our mailbox this time. Our front door's sage green was too bold for Crest Haven's vibe, despite being the same color since we moved in. That one cost $300. Claire started a notebook, jotting down anything odd. Marcus's assistant, Linda Hayes, snapping photos of our house at dawn. A new camera on a streetlight aimed right at our yard. When Claire called the city, they had no record of it. That's when I got serious. I rigged our place with discrete camera, high-def, night vision, the works making it look like standard home security. Claire caught me tinkering in the garage one night, wiring feeds to a laptop that wasn't exactly best by material. "What's this, Nathan?" she asked, her voice sharp. I shrugged it off as precaution, but she spotted an old photo I'd meant to hide. Me in jungle fatigues, standing by a Special Forces outpost sign. She didn't say a word, but her eyes asked questions I wasn't ready to answer. Marcus's behavior around me was strange from the start. He'd watch me at community barbecues, not like a bureaucrat flexing power, but like he was trying to place me from a half-forgotten nightmare. Once, at the mailboxes, he asked if I'd served in the Gulf. I gave a vague nod, but his eyes narrowed, like he'd caught a scent. Linda, meanwhile, was always nearby, her phone aimed at me when I mowed the lawn. I realized she'd seen my tattoo, a faded Green Beret crest on my forearm, when I rolled up my sleeves. By May, the fines hit $600 for overly elaborate garden decor. Claire was livid, and I was close to snapping. But something told me Marcus was playing a longer game, probing for cracks. That night, as I sorted violation notices in my old footlocker, Claire stood in the doorway, her voice soft but firm. "Nathan, there's something you're not telling me, isn't there?" The escalation came fast. Marcus wasn't just a power-hungry sway that was orchestrating something darker. Claire's sleuthing turned up gold. The streetlight camera was illegal, wired to a recorder in Linda's garage. She also found Marcus had my consulting schedule down to the minute, somehow accessing my calendar. This wasn't HOA nonsense. It was stalking. Marcus hired 2 goons, Vince and Kyle, who looked like they'd flunked out of a mercenary audition. They showed up with Linda, eyeing our house like it was a target. Then came the personal attacks. Wilted roses left on our porch, Claire's SUV scratched with ugly words, trash strewn across our lawn at 3 a.m. The cops called it kids' pranks, but I knew better. Claire started jumping at shadows, asking if we should move. Seeing her scared lit a fire in me that no fine could spark. I took a sick day and tailed Marcus. He met a slick guy in a BMW, trading a thick folder for a handshake. Their body language screamed conspiracy. My gut said Claire and I were in the crosshairs. The attack hit on a Thursday in June, when I was stuck in a mandatory meeting in Albany. Claire was home alone, and I should have canceled, but I didn't. At 10:15, she texted, "Linda and two guys at the door, saying it's an emergency inspection." What do I do? I was already speeding back, but Albany's traffic made 20 minutes feel like forever. Through my phone's camera feeds, I watched it unfold, my heart pounding like a war drum. Linda, clipboard in hand, led Vince and Kyle, dressed in fake security gear. They claimed a tip about hazardous materials in our garage. Claire, always trusting, let them find a mistake I should have warned her against. They tore through our home like a tornado, smashing Claire's custom vases, shredding our wedding photos, stomping my service medals into the carpet. They saved the worst for her garden, ripping out roses, smashing the pergola, and bashing the lights with a crowbar. Claire begged them to stop, tears streaming, but they laughed. When she reached for her phone, Vince smashed it, and Kyle shoved her into the kitchen counter. "Get out of Crest Haven," Vince snarled, "or it gets uglier." Linda filmed it all, smirking like a director on a sadistic set. I made the drive in 13 minutes, breaking every traffic law. The front door was ajar, Claire's sobs echoing. Vince and Kyle were in the living room, debating what else to break. Linda was still filming. They didn't hear me slip in. I took Vince down first, a quick strike to his knee that left him crumpled. Kyle swung, but I caught his fist and dropped him with a clean hook. Linda froze, her phone clattering to the floor. I tied the goons with zip ties from my toolbox and checked on Claire. She was shaken but unhurt, trembling on the couch. "Nathan, how did you?" she whispered. I looked at the unconscious thugs and said, "They messed with my family. They're about to learn why my old team called me Hawk." Claire's research and my contacts dug up Marcus's past, a dishonorable discharge in 2008 for selling intel to insurgents in Iraq. He'd been my CO during a botched mission where his betrayal got two of my brothers killed. I'd built the case that got him court-martialed, and he'd sworn revenge. A neighbor, Mr. Jenkins, mentioned Marcus bragging about settling an old score when he moved in. Linda's leaked notes confirmed it. Marcus had tracked Hawk Brooks for years. The HOA meeting in July was my stage. I walked in with a projector, interrupting Marcus's speech. The room went quiet as I played the attack footage, Claire's cries cutting through the silence. I rolled up my sleeve, showing my tattoo and scars. "I'm a retired Green Beret," I said. My call sign was Hawk. "Marcus is here for revenge because I exposed his treason." Linda cracked, yelling that Marcus planned it all. The crowd turned on him, his lies collapsing. Marcus didn't stop. He hired 6 men for a home invasion in August. I was ready, turning our home into a fortress. At 2 a.m., they cut the power and jammed our phones, but I'd been watching through thermal scopes. Using the garden hose as a tripwire and a fire extinguisher as a smokescreen, I took them down one by one, though a knife grazed my ribs. Claire emerged from the safe room, stunned but steady, documenting the scene like a pro. "Who were you, Nathan?" she asked. I promised her the truth once it was over. The police moved fast, our evidence ironclad. Marcus faced life for conspiracy and attempted murder. At a packed community meeting, Claire spoke with fire, exposing Marcus's reign of terror. Neighbors shared their own stories, and Linda's tearful confession sealed his fate. Claire was elected HOA president, vowing transparency. Our home rose from the ashes, Claire's new garden a symbol of defiance. Crest Haven became a true community, neighbors now friends. Standing in that garden on a crisp April 2024 evening, I looked at Claire, now a leader, and realized we'd built something stronger than before. "Miss the old life?" she asked. "I missed the team," I admitted. "But Thesis, this home ice worth every fight." I turned to share our lesson. Don't underestimate the guy next door. He might be a hawk, and if you threaten his family, he'll hunt. Was I right to take down Marcus's men, or did I cross a line? Should Claire have trusted the system instead of fighting back? Could Marcus have been a victim of his own past, or was he pure evil? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button and subscribe for more stories of ordinary folks facing impossible odds. What's your take, justice or vengeance?